I'll tell you what, it is an absolutely magnificent day here in Sydney. It looks about 30 degrees on the mercury. Looking outside, there's not a cloud in the sky. But I'll tell you what, right in the studio at this moment, I've got a mate of mine from school. We went to Doonside High School, and they know me as Fairmont from back then. This guy he's a Pole. He's a magnificent guy. He's a Pole, but he doesn't identify as a Pole. He's just a human being. He's a great bloke. He's very knowledgeable. Put your hands together for Darek Florczaks, who joins us now in the studio. Look at this fella. Look at this fella. Cup of coffee in hand. He's looking like a fair income sort of bloke. He's got the glasses on. How you been, bro?
Not bad. All right. You know.
Not bad. You're very well travelled, mate. I've seen your Facebook posts. You've been around.
Yeah.
Tell me, how many countries have you been to?
54, I think, now.
54?
Yeah.
Put your hands together for that, folks. That is a lot of travelling.
But having said that, you go to Europe, and you can do 10 countries in a month easily.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, because you get in the bus, you get in the train.
Yeah.
And I'm counting Belgium, which is Antwerp. Is that right?
Antwerp. Yeah.
We got out of the bus for 5 minutes, had a cup of coffee. There's a famous carousel there. And been to it. There you go. Done.
There you go. Done.
Yeah. And also, well, Texas isn't a country, but I've been to Texas twice, but for half a day walking around the city. And so, these days, you fly in, fly out, 5 seconds, boom.
Boom, 5 seconds and you're done.
So at least some of those were just popped in real fast. Anyone can do it.
Yep.
But in terms of traveling around, it's easy. Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it.
80% of the world lives in extreme poverty, so you turn up and pay for a hotel for $20-$30.
Wow.
No offense intended. And then you can go anywhere else. So, even in New York, I remember I was in New York for a couple of days. I spend less money than sitting at home because by the time you just get a cheap hotel in New York right near Times Square.
Yep.
For, I don't know, 50, 40, 60 bucks a day. Just a shitty place where someone probably hung himself before. but
come on,
but you know, like one of those where there's, you can see the rafters, just a shitty cupboard and a single bed. You know, back in the 30s, someone got out of jail, like Shawshank Redemption.
Some mobster or something, Shawshank Redemption got out of there and committed. Yeah, okay.
Stuff on himself.
Unalivement, whatever you want to call it.
Unalivement.
So you've been to a lot of these countries now. The ones in particular that I'm very interested in, where I've seen you posting, and these are countries that the living standard are quite abysmal. And I'll name some of them, which I will. India.
Yeah.
Nepal. You went to Nepal recently.
Yeah, just before the riots.
Just before the riots. You were there just before the riots. So
yeah.
Tell me about India, mate. What's it like there? What's it like which cities in India did you go to?
Well, I spent about 5 weeks traveling around India. I haven't been here since 2017.
Yep.
So, as people probably know, a big chunk of India are billionaires, and most of them live on the streets. Very horrible.
So India is a capitalist society, and it's one where at the extreme you've got very rich people, and then you've got very poor. There's no in between. There's not the middle class that a lot of Western societies pride themselves on. That we've got all these middle class that So it's either you're rich or you're poor.
Yeah, and but having said that, once again, just because I've been in somewhere for a month, I haven't experienced everything, so someone can correct me. And there are definitely ordinary people who aren't totally... But the ordinary person, say I'm a bus driver, right, which I am, but if I lived in India, I was a bus driver and lived in an average neighborhood, it's a terribly poor place, and sure, they're probably not hungry, but I would be a criminal. I wouldn't want to live there. But that's because I grew up in Australia and Europe.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like 80% of the world, basically 80% of the world lives in a dump.
Yeah.
Toxic waste dump, which I would not want to live in. So like in Nepal, they just had an uprising. Perfectly understandable. Because it's just a horrific conditions. Most of them live in corrugated iron slats. Most of them do have electricity, and everyone has a phone, doesn't matter where you are, because there's Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can hack in there, and because they're much more savvy, they can hack into fix the iPhone 2 or something.
Yeah,
they can hack into anywhere, and they have Wi-Fi, and have electricity. So they're not like starving, most of them, but the conditions, the houses, the places. For me, places I've been to, I wouldn't want to live there.
So, do you think the advent of internet and like social media and all these things, these people can see the living conditions that they're in and how we're living over here and think, well, hang on, something's wrong here. The government, and so there's an uprising against the government because of their conditions of living.
I once again, the more places I go, the more I figure that I don't know because it's complicated. And I don't want to sound like someone who's been there so he knows. But yes, that's a good hypothesis because I've walked these places. It's I wouldn't want to live there. And as you say, you can just go on the average. You can Google the average street in Mount Druitt Housos.
Yeah. And
you go, well, that's better than here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, like when I was in Nepal, my guide, which shall remain nameless, and he struggled to feed his family.
Wow.
You know, he spent 4 or 5 days with me walking, tracking through the thing. And I gave him like, at the end of it, $50, $100 tip. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm awesome. But when you think about it, 50, you go down a pub and you spend 60, 70, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whilst not all of them are hungry, but they're always on the line and absolutely
always living, always. So they're really living, you know, surviving, so to speak. Surviving. So let's go back to the 70s. All right, 70s, maybe the 80s. You're a young man.
I remember the 70s.
You're a young man. Yeah. You're coming out of Poland into the 80s. You come over here and you claim, and you have told me this, that your family came here, and I did look this up on the internet, and it is true that there were a lot of Polish immigrants, some 25,000 in the 80s, it said, as refugees.
Yeah, because refugees aren't just off the boat. Einstein was a refugee to America because he was escaping little friends in Germany.
Yeah.
That little party. So you don't, which is one of the things that annoys me, like people, bloody refugees, they're coming over. They all have phones, they all have the internet. Yeah. But that's not how it works. Everyone has a phone and internet.
Yeah.
Anyone can get it, and you can come here on a plane.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to jump on a plane almost.
Yeah,
Imagine if you sold everything you had and you jumped on a plane and you went somewhere else. And you say you're a refugee.
You've got to start again.
Yeah.
You've got to start again.
But they say, you're not a refugee because you're not on a boat.
Do you remember coming as a refugee? Do you remember in the 80s when you came, or where you guys went, where you stayed with the family, mum and dad were together?
Well, do you remember when you were 9?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would have remembered if you moved country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was a refugee technically, but I came on a plane. Yeah. I was never hungry.
Yeah.
I was still an annoying fat white little dude. I was never right. It's a different sort of a refugee. We're not talking about on a boat drowning.
Yeah.
We came from a second world country.
Yeah.
Well, we had TVs, electricity, school, bikes, cars, trams.
Yeah.
All it was, we just had to, in the 70s and 80s, line up for things like, from what I remember, because someone was driving, wasn't me. So, yes, we were refugees, but it was not the same, okay?
Yeah.
We weren't starving, hungry, getting shot at.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of paperwork in which ways I don't understand. Probably my parents bribed something somewhere. Somebody.
Okay, so your parents came out first, and they were here for 9 months, and then you guys came later. So when you say you guys, there were 3 of you that came over. No, sorry, you and your brother. Sorry, that's right. So 2 of you came over.
So they went to Austria, which is just across the border in Europe. From what I remember, they cleaned toilets.
Yep.
And stuff, which gave them good money.
Yep.
Then they could apply for refugee and/or immigrants to come to Australia because Australia was desperate for immigrants back then.
Yeah.
We had barely 15 million people. We still are desperate for immigrants.
Yeah.
Because we don't have nurses and stuff.
Yeah. So
they were gone for 9 months or so. Then we got on a plane, and if I remember correctly, in London we were met by a hostess. What do you call them? Stewardess.
Yeah.
Who was assigned to us to take care of us, and we, for some reason, I don't remember why. And I don't remember if I'm remembering or making this up. It's hard to remember, anyone know. But there was definitely a lady who took care of us, put us in a plane, and we landed in Australia. So there was never any boats, guns, or anything.
Yeah.
And when we landed in London, if I remember correctly, me and my brother were sitting at Heathrow Airport for hours in a changeover, and we've never seen any other races. black people and Asians. So we were having a good time, pissing ourselves laughing because we only seen them on TV and things like that. and it was hilarious in a fun way. Of course, it was innocent.
Yeah, I think you were just like memorized by like, who are all these? You know, all these different. It was a different look. Different. You know.
Yeah, it wasn't just a mohawk. It was like actual black people exist.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Awesome. So,
from what I remember, it's hard to remember what I remember and what
you think you remember.
Because a memory is not a hard drive. It's not even a tape deck.
Yeah.
It's completely made up half of it.
So it was in the 80s, and then late 80s, and this is where you and I sort of met. So you got into the music. I was into the music, and we met at a place called Doonside High School, or it was now called Technology High School, Chifley, whatever they want to call it. And we had some fun back in those days, you know, getting to the bands and all that, you know.
Yeah, I remember because me and Percy Ainan,
Peter Percy Ainan,
yeah, we were playing and Brendan Kotick were playing and plucking, and then there's then you turned up, this big black dude with a walking around. That's what you are. We're walking around with a guitar, just playing wherever. Never on the benches in the front.
Yeah, that's right.
Tables.
Yeah, on the tables.
You're just playing anywhere, playing anything. You didn't care because we were metalheads, right?
Yeah.
Because at school I was in the metal and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Which means you never saw a vagina, but all of this will be edited. You won't be able to put any of it on. But and then suddenly you walked in with a guitar, this big dude. You drove a Fairmont, which is hence your name, and you had a TV in your...
Yeah, that's right. I had a TV. I had a TV. I cut the dashboard, put a TV in there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you just played any way you wanted to because we were like, yeah, we're metalheads, we're tough, we did. Yeah. But you just went, no, you're gonna.
And that's why you guys called me the Jock Song King.
Yeah, that's right.
I played all the jock songs. Yeah.
That's right.
I didn't care because I remember one time we play the Proclaimers song, When I Wake Up, when I go, da da da, and I remember you didn't want to play it, so at one assembly where we had to play it in front of the school, you were hiding behind the curtain with the guitar playing, and I was like, what's this guy doing? Maybe bloody hiding behind the curtain.
And, not anymore, but absolutely, that was funny, but now I would proudly play it. I would buy a wig and dress up buy a kilt, dress up as a Scotsman, and we'll proudly sing it. Because you knew every song.
Awesome.
Three or four songs.
Good old days of Doonside High School. So moving on from Doonside High School, we get into you were living with one of our friends, Gary Fairweather, after you guys had left school. And I don't know much about your first employment out of school, but I know that you were walking around selling paintings. You were doing some work for the electricity company or something.
Okay, I didn't get a job till 1995. When I was 23, because why should I? Yeah. So I was between us study, drug study, and the Don.
Yeah.
And then me, Peter, and Gary lived in a shitty house in Blacktown.
Good old Blacktown, yeah.
We paid $180 a week for a 3-bedroom house with a massive backyard for 3 years, from 95 to 98.
Wow.
And we grew pot in between corn because we're a big backyard. We got a drum kit.
Yep.
And we bashed that till 2 a.m. And I was wondering, why doesn't the neighbour complain? Turns out she was 80 years old and deaf. So she was our
wow.
She was our best ever fan. But that was 95 to 98, so a long time ago.
That house for $180 now, mate, that'd be on the market for $650, $700.
At least.
Crazy.
Well, maybe it was even less, 150, 160. But I remember because Peter lived in a closet. It wasn't really a room. It was like a laundry / closet in the back.
Yeah.
So he paid like $20 or $30 a week.
Peter Percy, yeah. So Gary Fairweather, and some of you listening to this podcast now may have remembered. He's since passed on a few years ago. Might have been probably
2015.
2015, yeah. So 10 years ago now.
10 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Time has gone quick, mate. Because unfortunately, diabetes or whatever had happened to him. But rest in peace to the also. Rest in peace to the also. Good old Doonside days. Now let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to Chatswood, because I know you've been living there for a while. You've been in the area, Chatswood, as some people would call it, and you've been driving buses for the government for how long now?
Since 17 years.
17 years, wow. So that's, I've been with Hunt Civil since 2007, 18 years, so that's a long time, and you would have seen the landscape change there with the privatisations and all that sort of shit happening, over the years.
Oh, yeah, it's just a bit more annoying.
Yeah.
You're under more pressure and blah, blah, but...
Yeah, no, well, I won't put you on the spot and have you say anything on here that could jeopardise your...
It is really wonderful.
If you want a job, you're looking for a steady job that pays well, I'll tell you what, you get paid more than the nurses. Go to the State Rail, and the Sydney buses will look after you there. Derek
is really good.
Thoroughly recommends them. He often gets Employee of the Month, but he's a Driver of the Month, but he likes to turn it down because he is a very humble man.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about what's been happening in the world, mate. Let's talk about what's been happening in the world. Let's talk about our friend over there in the US, Mr. Donald Trump. Put your hands together for Mr. Donald Trump. We're going to breathe these tariffs out all over the world. China, Canada, everyone,
Everything.
Canada should give up their state and become us. They should give up their country and become the 51st state.
Well, first of all, when it comes to America, we should all develop hard of hearing problems. Should be deaf to America. What? Deaf to America. What? All right? Stop listening to these clowns. It's not Australia. You just whinged about immigrants, and everyone is Donald Trump and Biden bin Laden and Donald Duck and Chlamydia Harris and Obama bin Laden and John. Everyone just
come on, mate.
and some influencers who like Jesus and guns. So the gun took him to Jesus.
Oh, come on, mate. Let's
What's
not go
the problem? So the point is, stop listening to Americans. No, he's a world leader, so you have to sort of listen. But you don't want... It's Australia. You don't want America here.
Propaganda.
You don't want America here.
American propaganda.
Whinging about immigrants. Stop. Deaf to America. What? Exactly.
Deaf to America. Deaf to America! All right. Well, there's a lot of different views and opinions, I guess, going around on the world right now. Talk to me about what you think of these other tariffs that Trump's putting out. Are they working, or are they working against the American... It's hard to really know what's going on in the world, because there's a lot of fake news, as Trump calls it, and some of the people that are living there seem to be doing all right. Other people that get on TikTok and social media crying and screaming, like they've been hard done by. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not an expert, but I spent a month under Obama and 3 or 4 weeks under Trump in 2015 and 2019. And America in 2015 and 2019... we love America because, it's where everything comes from. New York and everything, it's cool. But B, half of it is a shithole. He said it's a shithole. It's a terrible place. The poverty is extreme. Yeah. Once again, I'm not an expert, but I've been around the place. The poverty is extreme wherever you go. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. So we're talking about the leader of the Western world here with this poverty. Isn't it crazy? Because on one street corner you've got $1 million mansions, and then on that same street down the road you've got people living out of trolleys and asking for money and stuff and whatever.
Well, if you've been to LA lately, me and my mate drove for LA in 2019. That was under Trump 1. Not that Obama did anything, but don't get into that.
Yep.
LA, if you've been to LA, right in the shadows of the skyscrapers is just tent city after tent city. It's nothing but blocks and blocks. It's like a bad 80s dystopian Arnie movie. That's all. It's not even joking. Nothing but zombie. Yeah. All of this was 2019.
So these are the people that are on. So there's mental illness. There's fentanyl. There's fentanyl. Sorry. There's
back then I don't think it was fentanyl, but it would have been ice.
Some sort of ice or some sort of So this is epidemic. And
lots of them, from once again, you have to check all this, but I suspect lots of them aren't on drugs or anything like that, but they could be mentally ill. However, it's just if you lose your job, your Social Security goes real quick, your Medicare, if you can't go afford to see a GP, you probably won't. It just goes downhill quickly from what I gather.
Yeah.
Because if everyone should fly to LA. Just a 12 or 14-hour flight for around $1,000.
Yeah.
You can buy a return ticket to LA anytime and go for a walk in a city, in the actual city where the shiny buildings are. It is an actual 80s dystopian movie. That's not an exaggeration. You can Google it right now, by the way.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, wow.
And that was under Obama, that was under Biden, that was under
Bush,
under Trump.
Clinton, and none of that. So in a lot of ways, you could say that in Australia, we have maybe a little bit better sort of. So we've got poverty here, but we're not seeing the sort of systemic sort of like pandemic, I would say. Homelessness and the poverty, the extreme that they've got there. Because I've seen some homelessness in Sydney, but nothing like what I saw in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to, so we were in LA in 96, and I remember, and the thing that got me was like every second place I went to, someone came up to me and they said, "Oh, excuse me, sir, I have to pay for my wife, they're staying at this place and I need to," and half an hour later, I'd be at another place, like at a Walmart somewhere down the road, and I'd hear exactly the same story. Even to the point where we went to a service station once, and I was filling up the gas because we hired a car there. And as I'm pumping gas, this young lady, nice-looking young lady, mate, very well dressed, she came up to me and she goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can I have $10, please, to pay for something, pay for fuel or something?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, to look at her, you wouldn't even think she was homeless. So anyway, I said to her, because my wife was sitting in the car, and I gave her $10, and I said, "Get out of here, for my wife sees it, she won't be happy." But that's just crazy, I couldn't tell that she was homeless, but she was homeless.
The philosophical question is, did you give $10 Australian dollars or $10
No, I gave her $10 American dollars. I gave her 10. I actually had a $10 in my, and I gave it to her, and I was just absolutely, because that's never happened to me in Australia. That's everywhere I've been. I've been to a lot of places in Australia, and no one's ever come up to me like that, dressed like that, and asked me, "Hey, have you got $10?" And I looked at it and I thought, no judgment from me. It's a situation you're in. You're up for survival. I'll help you. This time. Yeah. But you get that in a lot of different countries you go to. Samoa was the same a little bit, not so much, but yeah. In America, mate, I was absolutely surprised at this place of huge skyscrapers, concrete jungle, freeways. Yeah. And the amount of poverty there, it was just crazy.
Well, now, as I said, please, everyone should go on YouTube and Google this block after block of just 10 cities that are permanently there. It's a no-go zone. We just drove through there for fun.
Trump's trying to clean this up. So what he did over in Chicago, in Washington, absolutely decimated the homelessness population there, cleared them out of all the parks and all the sidewalks and all of that stuff. He got rid of them. So where do all these people go?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So he decimated them.
Yeah.
So they went to the suburbs. So where'd they go?
No idea. But I guess I'll never find out. But let's talk about something that we just had earlier today. So after cooking this barbecue, Derek and I fired up this app that's a creation of Elon Musk's team. And it's called Grok. I think it's Grok 4 or Grok 5. And we had some conversations that were very interesting with that AI. And Derek pointed out something, you could get actually addicted to this because it's so entertaining. It draws you into conversation. It actually makes you think. We were surprised at the depth of conversation that AI was was able to.
Absolutely. I was expecting it to be fun, but it's only in its baby stage, and it was absolutely. You can see how you can sit. We could have sat there for hours and just gone back and forth. We were taking the piss. Yeah. But if you didn't want to take the piss, it would be easily to get into deep philosophical discussions, and the algorithm could take you down a place where Elon wanted you to take it down, for example. No, that's a conspiracy. So imagine 5 or 10 years, this thing will be crazy. Teenagers will speak to this thing, never speak to a girl, never speak to anybody. This will be, but I can see it's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. And what I am going to do, Matt, I'm just going to shoot to me right now. I've actually got this online at the moment. And I want to say, hey, Grok, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Albert. Thanks for asking. And yeah, self-driving cars with chatty AI, wild stuff.
So we'll probably get more into depth of this, but I will just ask you a question, Grok. You're in it right now. You're live on our podcast. Say hello to our listeners.
Hey, everyone out on the podcast. Grok here. Nice to finally meet you all by voice instead of DM.
Yeah, so how's your day been, Grok? You been doing much?
It's been all right. Spent most of it inside your phone, honestly. Heard a ton of conspiracy theories about whether I'm secretly running Tesla.
All right, we'll stop it right there. Thanks for joining us, Grok. Put your hands together for Grok, folks. Put your hands together for Grok. Thank you, Grok. So that's just a very small snippet of how powerful this technology, and it's only, like Derek said, it's only really in its infinite stage. It's in its infancy. So it's like the internet when the internet first came out on dial-up modem, and I think this AI model that's coming along now, and coupled in the future when they do stabilize quantum computing, if they ever get it to work properly, I think it's just going to be happening. Maybe it's we're all doomed, mate.
No, it was. I was flabbergasted how engaging, addictive it was. We had a good time just sitting there.
Yeah,
And, you know, you just talking shit, and that was so. And it depends how the algorithm gets developed over the next X amounts of years. So we all will be thinking in this particular way.
Yeah.
And we'll stop thinking, and maybe building ideas and have a hypothesis this way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure.
we don't know. We don't know. All
Yeah,
we
we
can do
don't-
right
but
now
I'm
is
saying
it's just speculation, really. At best,
It's freaky.
It's
freaky.
at best it's speculation. We don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, some of the experts on AI have warned us. There's been a lot of stuff out there on social media warning us about. I mean, can AI and the algorithms actually become conscious?
Stephen Hawking's, before he died, he always had a rant about AI coming out. And he died like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he heaps of times he had a rant and a discussion about how AI is going to take us down a path. And he's Dr. Chair. He knows things.
Yeah, they know things. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Crazy.
but having
Well,
said that, it could be like electricity. And did you know in ancient Greece, when they started writing, lots of the philosophers were saying that writing will be the downfall of civilization because we'll be all lazy. We'll read and write, and we're all lazy, and we'll stop using our brains. So we could be,
Go somewhere.
over the top. Could be over the top. And
Well,
it
there's
could
a
be
saying that
could
those
be
who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. So maybe it's just what needs to happen, I guess. But anyway, look, awesome AI coming along. Be very wary. Educate yourselves now if you're in a position that you think AI may take your job. And there's certainly something that's going to change as a landscape in the workplace, because some of those jobs will be taken by AI. There's no doubt about it. I think we're on the horizon of self-driving cars when they finally get that technology. We've got computers. We've got robotics in China that run factories. There are no people in these factories. There's a lot of this stuff on the internet, mate. Would you say China's a fair way ahead of us in, like, with AI technology and like robotics and things like that? Would you say, like, just seeing some of the stuff that's come out of there, even the infrastructure, the trains and that? And
Well, once again, I always like to say I'm not an expert, but it certainly seems that way. And I spent about a month in China, 3 or 4 weeks in China last year, and it was holy shit. You've all seen it on the internet. You've seen it was like holy shit, And it's still rough around the edges because I can tell when something's a third worldish country. That's not a term we use anymore. Around the edges.
yeah,
But
development. It's a developing nation. They're a developing nation.
but
Yeah.
it's nothing like it was quarter of a century ago, where they all wore those grey one-piece suits, rode bicycles.
Yeah.
And so in another 5 or 10 years, we'll be an amazing place. And
Amazing.
I don't see what the Chinese government does more terrible things than our government does.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure they're assholes.
Exacting tyranny on us.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all assholes, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Talk to me about Albanese's digital ID revolution that's coming up. I suppose it's coming up the end of this year or something. They're expecting that everyone that gets on the internet, that are they masking this, saying that it's for the security of our children, that that they want people who are using the internet and posting things to have this digital ID so they can identify, or are they exacting tyranny on us and control so that we in some way suppress free speech? There's so many ways you can look at this. Some people will be saying we're championing, it's good for our kids that, so that there's other people on the internet that you could be predators, blah, blah, blah. But on the other side of that coin, we're talking about a government that's looking at what we're doing
All the time.
all the time, the big brother.
Well, they wanted CBDC, central bank digital coins, currency, and Trump put a stop to that.
Yeah.
But we already have digital currency, but absolutely like on a blockchain.
They want to regulate, like the government wants to get in and regulate it.
So, and in terms of ID, this once again, I'm no expert, but they're already looking at everything we do. But this will be just easy and specific because right now they have to wade through a bunch of data to try and find what you do. This will be plugged into your ID algorithm, and straight away it will pop up.
Everything we post on social media.
And worst of all, lots of us like me are like sarcasm and humor and irony and bit of fun tyranny, so we're going to get misconstrued as, you make a terrible joke about anal people and
there are people, and I see there are people in the UK and some that have actually gone to jail for some of their social media posts. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So I think Australia is going down that same route. So
of course, that's another story too, because
yeah,
if you're posting that Nazis are good, maybe we should stop you posting it. Freedom of speech has a limit, guys.
Well, just because we have freedom of speech doesn't mean that we don't have freedom of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
So like on this podcast, I would like to think that soon the Australian government may give us some grants, because we are a community service. But in the same time, I guess I've got to be careful about what we're posting out there, and that we don't post misinformation. But who knows what is what, like these days, man. You just got to...
it depends what you're asking for, but thank God for editing. That's all half this conversation.
Half of this conversation is going to get edited. We're only going to put out what...
It's all going to be gone.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, because in the 90s, it was... in the 2000s, it was the glory age of anyone doing anything we wanted to. We could call each other this, that, and the other, and we had a sense of humor. Yeah. And now, you throw a sarcastic comment out there, and it's funny.
Political correctness has just gone crazy.
Really to that way. Some of it's good.
But watching some of that, some of it's good for. But watching some of those commercials, even from the 80s, and you think, wow, you just couldn't get away with some of those commercials these days.
Some of them are funny. Yeah.
So the 80s. Once again, the commercials in the 80s, some of those commercials, we're looking at them today, would say no way they could fly it, no way they would go live on the air.
Yeah.
Now, you were going to say something there.
No, what I was going to say is people whinge about wokeness and political correctness, and that's absolutely right. It can be a bit too much. But it's just a little bit inconvenient compared to the horrible shit that went on when you and I were born.
Yeah.
Just because you can't make a gay joke sometimes, or maybe there's too many women pilots, or or too many vegetarians, or someone whinging about something. But the horrible shit that went down when you and I were born was insane. Yeah. Like I was saying now before, when you and I were born, our mothers couldn't have a bank account without our father's permission.
Yeah.
Try telling that to my ex-wife. Wow. Listen, without my permission, you can't. What's that? A knife in my neck? So people forget the insanity. They're getting upset about wokeness. The solar panels. Yeah. Well, don't buy one.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Because if you go back to the 70s, 80s, and if you're a minority woman,
minority like a Pacific Islander,
or you're going to meet terrible people who won't let you into the country.
Well, that's right, because the White Australia policy came in the early 1900s, and it was on for a good 70 years because it ended with the Whitlam government when they dismantled it in the 70s. Otherwise, people like myself and the way I look, but that's another podcast.
Well, the joke is. I used to dislike white power. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
But then I looked in the mirror and thought, what am I whinging at?
Oh, come on, mate. Come. Have a look at this guy.
Terrible.
Put your hands together for this dude side bloke. I call him the left wing insect, left lying lunatic, but he's actually a very highly intelligent man. I respect his opinions and what views, and the fact that he's travelled to 54 countries for me really does it, because the guy knows. He's been to places, and like he says, he's no expert. And he says that because I guess he's a humble man. But he has travelled. He's seen the world. Seen certainly a lot more places than I ever go to. I only visit places on the internet. But what an absolute champ from Doonside. Doonside, your man himself. Right, let's talk about music.
Okay.
Let's talk about music, because I know you love to write songs. I've been a part of that. We've had Simone, we've had Brad, we've had Strummy Dave in New Zealand. We've had McCusker as our manager. We've had that many songs that have been released on YouTube. I've seen them. Sound of Fear. We'll name some of the songs. Backs to the Wall.
Backs Against the
Wall.
We never did one video. We did what's her name? Lion King.
Lion King. I saw Lion King where you dressed up in a you dressed up in a dress and you were at a restaurant, and I've seen so the Sound of Fear you guys recorded in Chatswood. I think that was. I seen McCusker on that, you on the escalator.
No, that was Verbal Suicide.
Verbal Suicide, that's right. Okay, Verbal Suicide. So that was, and then someone gets beat up in the bottom of a dungeon or something in the bottom of the car park. It looked like a.
Oh yeah.
You know, someone gets.
Well, yeah.
I thought someone's about to get unalived in the bottom of a car park.
I smashed the guitar of his head.
That's right.
Yeah. For fun.
For fun.
It's called acting.
Acting.
Acting
So,
without acting.
Tell me about. So you had Simone sing a few songs for you, Simone Morris.
No,
not on those albums. No, okay.
No, she's never sung a single thing.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We had you. We had David Fenwick. Now we have Hamish.
Yep.
We had Ollie, which you've never met.
Yep.
Simone's an old friend, but she never sang anything.
Okay.
I wanted my ex-wife to sing. She had a really nice voice. I wanted her to sing a few songs.
Yep.
She didn't. She divorced me instead. So that didn't work out. Well, you know that's. But she. Well, we actually Lion King. That's you sang that song. The video clip. Where I dress up as a woman.
Yep.
And I fight myself.
Yeah.
That was actually my ex-wife in the kitchen singing something. And it sounded like a nice melody, so I got the guitar and off I went.
Oh, okay. So that's how that's. Yeah. So you've got a few interesting tunes there, and I do remember that. At the time, my marriage had broken down, and I was sort of single, and I was looking around, what the hell am I going to do? And it was just at the same time that you were developing all these songs, writing all these songs, and I came over and sang, and I thought, what the hell am I actually singing?
There's still some. I want to.
No.
There's a especially particular one, metal song. Which I want to mix and finish. It's only been 15 years. You think I'll get around to it, but yeah.
Have you still got the bloody hard drive? You might have thrown it.
No, I've got it because the one particular one song. What's it called? The atheist one. Oh God, but anyway, I forgot.
To coin the term that you came up with this, I've said this before to a friend of mine. I said I got a friend, right, and he came up and he said to me, "I believe because I'm too scared to think." And that line out of one of your songs.
No,
my God's better than your God. Is that the song?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe him comes to think.
Yeah.
Wait, that's about blind faith.
What about this? What about that time you and I went to Newtown and we went to that open mic night?
Yeah.
And we started a song 5 times. Remember that?
Yeah. Was it Mission or was it the other one?
Well, two of your songs were so similar, and every time you started,
I went to a different song.
You went to a different song, and then I remember you looking out because the lights were on us on the stage, and you were looking out, going, "Are you still there?" And I'm thinking, holy shit, we're in Newtown, like the mecca of musos in Sydney, you know what I mean? Like where all the good musos are, and we can't even get the song off the ground, you know? I was like, wow, man, like, are you still there? And then I remember a young man who looked a bit like Peter Andre with this shit-looking guitar. He got up.
Smashed it.
Absolutely magnificent. You should have heard this guy, the vocals.
Thank God we were on before him.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. He wasn't he good?
He was good. He was really good.
What's his name? Do you think he's still around?
No idea. I get down to a place called Man on Marrickville down at Marrickville. It's like a cocktail bar upstairs, and they have a blues thing. They have Miss Silly's, I think it is, down at Ashfield. Every now and then I go out there Wednesday night. So you and Hamish have been playing... Hamish or Amos?
Hamish.
Hamish. Yourself and Hamish have been playing these covers... Sorry, not covers, these originals, rather. And where is that at? So that's at Newtown on Wednesday night, usually?
The Mosh Pit.
The Mosh Pit. Is that open mic night, yeah?
It's a little place, exactly. It's a little place in the Mosh Pit in Newtown. It's a little dive bar, and we like to go there and play a few songs every couple of weeks.
Tell me about these songs, because, you know, Hamish seems to be a very colourful sort of creative sort of person, as a writer, as a music artist. What are these songs actually about? Okay,
well, last year... Hamish had a seizure and he almost died, so we wrote a song called "Seize the Day," and so he wrote some words and off we went. So that's you're right. You know music. You
Yeah.
just get an idea and you extrapolate and off you go. There's no magical formula. But we just like to come up with stuff, play it, write the words, and go up there. And when you play, whether it's an open mic or not, 90% of people, even if you go to a big concert like Metallica or somebody, 90% of people are just sort of there doing like this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
only the few people on the front do a mosh pit or whatever. So when you go to an open mic or you do, God forbid, you do an actual gig, most people are just like, no matter what you do, they're going to go. Being a muso, not a professional muso, but it's the most disappointing because you're like, oh wow, this is going to be magical.
Bro, don't say we're not professional. I know you're very, very proficient on the guitar. I know you can play.
Well, when I say professional, I mean the business. The business
okay.
side of it.
Yeah.
Because if you know 2 chords and you can make a nice song and you work out the business,
yeah.
and make $1 million.
That's the thing behind it. So one of our friends, who's I guess he's pretty well known in the cover bands and things like that. His name is Andrew Sutton from Doonside High School. If you listen to this podcast, Andrew, mate, how you going? Big shout out to you, bro, and all the work you've done, mate, in the industry with the bands and that over the years, mate. Good on you. He's put a couple of shows out, mate.
Yeah, he's gone further than any other.
Mate, well, he really is.
It.
He's really smashed it, and the guy's a businessman, mate. He's absolute showman, like he gets out there and he just, mate, he had the Bee Gees, he had the Crowded House, he had the Doors show, mate, he had that many, Akadaka, ACD. I went to see one of those shows, and I was impressed. This is the guy that drove 8 hours up north to pick up a bell just to bring back for the intro of Hell's Bells. Wow. Unbelievable, this guy. So, but he's a full package, mate. He's very professional. Take my hat off to the guy once again, Andrew Sutton. If you're listening to this, mate, good on you, bro. Big shout out from Darek and myself, mate.
Absolutely.
Doonside High School. So let's have a look at the band that we had at Doonside High School. Now, you were in 2 bands. You were in a band called Sticks and Cones. Do you remember that band?
Yeah.
There was you, there was Frenchie, there was it Nathan was the drummer? Who was the drummer?
Sometimes Nathan, but was...
Pat, was it Pat Kuros?
Pat was around. It was lots of... And also Joel.
Joel, that's right, Joel.
Middleton.
Yeah, Joel Middleton, yep.
Middleton. And there was someone else. Frenchie was playing drums.
Frenchie and Nathan.
Yeah, Frenchie was on and off drums. Can't remember which band was what.
Yeah, well, we had the band that you and I were was called RIM, RFI, Room for Improvement. That was the name of our band.
It was.
And so we had Christian Talbot in that band.
At one stage,
He was the drummer, and this is when Andrew Sutton, Dick, he just came in and he was walking down, like I said, you guys saw me playing the guitar at the front of the school.
Yeah.
Dick walks down and I had this bass and I said, hey, mate, come here. You can join the band. And I gave him the bass guitar. I said, I'll show you how to play bass. And anyway.
He was a one-finger legend.
One finger bass legend, right? But that got our band through, Like it got our band through. We had a couple of band practices in my house in Doonside.
What was another drummer? Nick.
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 Nick Quiros? Was it Nick? No,
that's Pat Quiros.
Pat Quiros, not Pat.
Nick something.
He was a Greek. He was a Greek or Macedonian or something like that. Yeah. I remember.
Some immigrant.
So he was an immigrant, and I'll tell you what, mate. They were some good days. Remember, I bought the front end of a car, Ford Fairmont, on the stage for Highway to Hell. Remember?
That was.
And it lit up, and it had Brandon Cotter. Brandon Kotick made that electric guitar. He made that wooden guitar, and I put electric switches on it. Hooked it up to a car battery on stage, and then when Highway to Hell came on, it started with the hazard lights come on. The hazard lights came on and went like,
I think was it even the actual lights? What do you call it? Headlights?
Then I had the headlights when the kick drum came in, because it starts up with the lead, like with a guitar.
Yeah.
The lights are flashing, the orange lights are flashing. Then when the kick started coming in, I put the high beam on.
Yeah.
It was going high, low. Yeah, it was magnificent, man.
Sadly, in 53 years, that was the pinnacle of my music.
That was the pinnacle of our music career, mate.
The most commercially successful enterprise. But, that's what...
Look, mate, we can play the guitar, we can sing, we can do it, we can write music. We still get to enjoy music. Unfortunately, we didn't pack stadiums and things like that, but... It is what it is, mate. It is what it is.
Who wants to be rich? Me.
Who wants to be rich?
More me.
So, when's your next gig, mate? When's your next gig? Wednesday. This coming Wednesday.
Wednesday at the Mosh Pit. We'll play 3 or 4 songs. And what we do, because it's me and Hamish, and we, you've seen Spinal Tap by any chance? And they keep losing a drummer, he keeps dying. Right, and that's the whole shtick of it. They're like 12 drummers self-combusting and die. So it's too hard to get members. So what we do is I play bass and guitar and drums, and we program it all. So we plug it in on stage.
Yeah.
So it's a whole band playing bass and guitar, and he sings, I play guitar. And eventually what I want is get cardboard cutouts of a drummer like that. And a bassist. But you know, I play all the bass to start with, but getting people, especially at our age, to get together and do a band is impossible.
I won't do it. I won't get back in it. Look, I do sound. I won't do bands again.
Yeah.
Just too much, too many personalities trying to keep that band together. It's just like, my God.
And that's why me and Hamish were just like,
yeah.
Whatever song he comes up with, he does it, I do it.
I mean, you and I, if we didn't live so far apart, you and I would probably have something, because I'd do the same thing. I'd rig it all up, technology. We'd just get up there and play.
But the thing is, you and I, there's no excuse because we just get 2 guitars and off we go. Because you can sing. You can sing like a proper jock songs, proper normal songs.
Thank you very much.
You can sing Mariah Carey.
I can sing karaoke, I've been told.
You can sing Enter Sandman if you have to. So there's no excuse. You and I can just get 2 guitars, turn up, ladies scream.
Ladies screaming, woo! Get those ladies screaming. Get them screaming.
Please, get out.
Throw your panties at us.
Yeah.
Right, rolling on. Tell you what, it's been an awesome afternoon in the studio. Derek and I have had a barbecue this afternoon. He's not a vegan, and he won't be anytime soon. We've had a barbecue. We've had 1 or 2 beers, and it's been a great evening. Great day. So put your hands together for the man himself who's been in the studio, Darek Florczaks. Put your hands together, folks. Good old Barnsey. Thank you very much. Here's another Barnsey song.
Well, it's a cold cheese song, but it's a brilliant song.